should be going. I'm going to read through our hearing script and then we'll get started. This is the May 19th, 2022 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Starkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I will preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220071. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. In the event any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make closing statements. Looks like there's no zoning plans examiner, no member of the public here. So I'll just let you guys tell me about the application, why you think it's appropriate, any background information you think is important for me to know. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present at the hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. If there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay. Mr. Fay, trying you again. If you're with us, if you could unmute. Okay, looks like he's still having some trouble. Are you ready to proceed without him?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
Okay, cool.
I mean, we know what we need to say, I think.
Sounds good.
Liz,
Let me
do
get
you
you
want
guys.
to take it? Want me to take it? I'll take it. So
Let me get you guys sworn in real quick. If you
Yep.
guys raise your right hand, you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Floor is yours.
So the challenge at this site is, as with a lot of their other branches, they go through refreshes, and that includes logo updates, logo modifications. And at this particular site, there are multiple wall signs, which I think the current code has a challenge with. So when the branch was built and the signs were erected, there's 2 wall signs. I guess you would call that the east side and the south side wall on the corner of the business over the doorways. So as the plans show, what we are requesting is to put updated signage in both of the locations that currently have signage now. So there's 2 signs now, a sign and a sign, and that's all that we want to do. We want to replace them with the new style, which does not have the horizons, the little swooshes on either side of the logo. And then the new logo, the new branding is essentially logo and letters next to it. And then in some cases, which I imagine this won't be the last time that we discuss this, in some cases it's logo over top of letters. So I would say most of their branches at some point are, I mean, all of them at some point are going to be changed. So it's just a matter of when we run into these challenges where for whatever reason, it's not allowed today, but it was then, or I don't know what happened. So that's kind of the scenario here. And based on the visibility of the building, we really feel like it ought to have those 2 wall signs. You know, it needs to have them moving forward. It has them now, and we're just requesting that we just are able to replace those.
So just a couple of questions. So this is, let's see, you're replacing, is it 1 or 2 here? It's 2 signs you're replacing?
Yeah, well, there's 2 wall signs, and then on the application, there's also a brick monument sign. I don't think there was a challenge with that.
No.
with the plans
No.
examiner.
It's just the one wall sign on this side.
Yeah, so they're allowed one wall sign and they're allowed to have the monument sign. So I think the drawing that you probably have is the east facing elevation, which that's the sign, I guess that's in question of whether or not they're allowed to have it or not. So it exists now and all we would like to do is replace it.
Hey guys, I made it on, by the way.
Hey, Jeff.
I've heard everything. I was having issues with my privacy settings and microphone, but I'm on now, and I have been present since the beginning of the call. Just so you know.
Okay. I'm just taking a closer look at the zoning code right now, guys. I just wondering. I mean,
Jeff, do you know any history behind this building and
I mean, it's been there for a long time.
yeah,
Those signs have been up for a long time.
right.
so
I mean, I know we would have probably rebranded those maybe 8 to 10 years ago,
Yeah,
possibly, maybe sooner. I don't recall.
yeah, I would say typically that style is about 10 years old, I think. So
did
Yeah.
you have any conversation with the zoning plans examiner about whether this was just a rebranding or a refacing versus like a more significant structural alteration?
So I had spoke to them, I had spoke to Trey, and basically they are trying to figure out how the one sign on the side was put up. So I'm not sure if they have record of that one from beforehand, and that's the reason why he was asking me to do the variance for it.
yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, so they just couldn't find where that was approved in the past.
Well, they have that it's approved, but they're not sure when that was.
okay.
I guess so. Well, let me ask a few more questions about so this is going to be smaller, correct?
Yeah, the square footage is less just because of how the layout is.
It's less and it's in the exact same spot.
Same location, smaller. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna approve this. I'm just trying to figure out why this wasn't approved at a staff level for just like a replacement or a refacing. But that's a
Yeah,
conversation I can have with them.
Yeah, we typically just say okay and yes because we're not trying to like ruffle any feathers. All we're doing is, I mean, there must have been a reason. I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
Because in our mind, if there's one there, then somehow it got there.
yeah,
And it's been there for 10 years. So
yeah. Okay, well, I'll check with them, particularly if you're going to be doing more of these in the future. I'll
Yeah.
check with them. I'm sure that they have some reason under the code.
Yeah.
Usually they're here for these, so he'd be able to explain it. But I've reviewed the application materials and been back and forth around this site many times and read the staff report. And I'm gonna approve the application. So I've been getting hit pretty hard the last few weeks with applications. I have like a dozen a week. So really what takes me the longest amount of time here is just writing the actual decision up. So I have to do that as you guys know, in a formal opinion. So I'm going to work on that over the next couple of weeks. If it takes a little bit longer, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I can give you a status update on where I'm at with that. As soon as I finish it, I put it in a PDF. I email it to you guys. So as soon as you have that, you can work with Trey, and he'll approve the permits and get that moving forward. So, any questions about any of that or anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and if you guys come up with a similar project, feel free to reach out to me if you'd like.
Okay.
We can talk through the code and what exactly is going on here with some of these. Because if it's smaller and it's just simply a rebrand and the sign otherwise the same, we might be able to fast track some of these for you.
All right. I appreciate that.
Perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Hey, this is Jeff. I got one quick question. So you have to write up the approval, and then once we receive that, it has to go to the sign off on the final permit, and then we can install the signs. Is that what do you think that time frame is?
So I think it's pretty quick. Once I issue the decision, I know that the Trey is able to approve the permits, and I'm a little hazier on the process after that. But I think it goes through one last building review. Kevin, you've been through this before. You might know actually more than me.
Yeah, I'm betting it's going to be a couple weeks, I would think. But
Yeah, you're probably looking at roughly 4 weeks.
you think it'd be
Yeah,
that?
I was hoping, Kevin, to get this wrapped up by the end of the month.
I know.
I'll do everything I can to get this decision out to you as quickly as possible. It's a pretty simple one.
Yeah, we have a grand opening, right? We invested over $600,000 in this branch, and we have a grand opening. I think it might be the last day of the month, right before Memorial Weekend, and I would love to be able to have the signs up. So that's why I was just kind of, asking the question. So I think Kevin's pretty much ready, but yeah, if we can get that paperwork before the end of the month, it should only take a few days to put them up, I would think. So
We'll be sure and follow it along, Jeff, and follow up with planning once they have his decision in their hands.
Did you
That's
guys already
great.
apply for the permits? And
Yeah.
You have all that stuff in and ready to go.
Yep,
Yes.
everything's been
Okay.
sent in together.
Yeah.
So that'll help. So yeah, as soon as you have the decision, I'm hoping it can move quicker than 2 weeks, but yeah, I'm just not sure because it's sort of out of my hands once it
Right.
goes back to buildings.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
Kevin, on
Yeah.
another note, do you think we could ask a quick question? Does it make sense to ask him real quick about a possible awning? Just why we got him here to say, is that something that we would have to
Yeah,
permit,
we
and would
can.
that go through him?
So David, one thing that has come up here recently at this branch is they've requested something to cover where the ATM is on that elevation. And so I came up with a plan to put one of the like aluminum commercial flat style awnings a couple feet out from the doorway, just going across that entrance, no signage, no lettering or anything on it. Would that be something that we would be able to do?
Yes. Whether it would need relief, I would need to
Okay.
do some research in the code. I would reach out directly to Trey or to the zoning
Okay.
department.
What I'll do is
We'll know that offhand.
we made up a little, like a simple drawing showing that. So what I'll do is I'll have Liz email that over to Trey just to be sure it's something we could do if we want to down the road.
Okay, sure. That sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know that offhand, guys.
It's all right.
Hey, I just figured I'd bring it up. It's something that we got in the works. but
Yeah, I mean,
while we're all together.
my thought is, based on my knowledge of the code, is it shouldn't necessarily require a zoning permit per se, because it's not over a public right of way.
Yeah, and I think the sign aspect too, if there's
And
no
there's-
signage
There's
on
no
it.
lettering or anything on it, so it would just be considered part of a building structure. So we'd need a building permit, but not necessarily zoning. So
Right.
that'd be my
That-
thought.
Is that in the Hyde Park Business District, the urban design overlay? This property?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Could add,
right there in town. Yeah, that may add a layer of.
yeah. Trey will be able to give you a quick answer on that.
All right, we'll email him and find that out.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let me know if you
All
have
right.